Howdy, folks. I'm Aquinas Coolius, enthusiastically eating excellent eggplants.
I'm Amber.
And here are more excellent eggplants for us to eat while we say nay because we are a horse. Nay. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not apologizing to my boyfriend after he got angry at me because I cheated in his dream? I'm a 23-year-old female and I recently bought a new kitchen table for my apartment. I am notoriously bad at assembling stuff, and my boyfriend, 25-year-old male, kept putting it off, so I hired a handyman to do it. My friend was also around at the time. As soon as the handyman left, she kept saying how hot he was and that I should tip him well, etc. My boyfriend asked if I agreed, and I simply didn't entertain the conversation at all. I thought that it was a dumb conversation. Well, a few days later, my boyfriend woke up angry at me because in his dream/nightmare, I cheated on him with said handyman. He said that I was making fun of him and that it was all extremely graphic and vivid. He said the scenes made him sick and he wished that he could unsee them. I told him that he's being ridiculous for being mad at me, for cheating on him in a dream. Like the version of your dream is literally your own projection of me. I'm not the one doing the handyman and making fun of you. That's what you projected for some weird reason. We had an argument and I refused to say sorry. Am I the jerk here? I think that he is. Alright, folks, what do you think? Is OP wrong for cheating?
No, I don't think Opie is the jerk here. And I don't get people who get upset at what happens in their dreams because like Opie pointed out, that's literally your mind that's doing it, not the other person.
Yeah.
Like I had a dream last night where Brian and I were at UMaine and I had this really old cell phone and I couldn't get through to him and he kept wandering off and we were missing bus after bus and he wasn't coming to find me. And I didn't wake up and yell at Brian because he made me miss the bus repeatedly in my dream.
No, because that really happened. So, don't worry. I mean, I think that this is one of those scenarios where OP is clearly in the right. I don't think there's a lot of nuance here, but you
No.
just can't get mad at somebody for doing something in your dream because they don't have any control over what they do in your dream. Now, I do think that the boyfriend, maybe he needs to think about what it means and whatnot, but he shouldn't be holding the OP accountable for those actions, right?
Right. I mean, I think it suggests some sort of insecurity or jealousy on his part that
Mm-hmm.
may be worth examining. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it's not OP's fault. And it doesn't sound like she's done anything to promote this weird vision he has in his mind.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if the boyfriend still can't get over this and he has this as a hang up, then maybe he should go into therapy and kind of talk this over with a therapist because that might be something that can help him. So, let me know what you folks think, though. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for asking my girlfriend to cut back on her messy hobby? And Amber wants to read this one.
My girlfriend collects rocks and bones, not crystals or anything. She doesn't think they have any magic powers. They're just normal rocks. She's not into astrology or any witch stuff. She sometimes tells me about the rocks, what type of rock they are, and it's usually chert, which seems to be just a type of normal rock. She's really outdoorsy and she travels a lot for work, and when she gets back from a project, she has a pocket full of new rocks. The bones are usually deer bones that she finds out in the woods, and she doesn't have as many of them. The skulls are cool, but also kind of creepy, and most of them don't even have antlers or anything impressive like that. Her favorite bones are shoulder blades and those spine bones. If we go on a hike, she'll sometimes stop randomly because she's found a cool rock that looks like a normal rock you could find anywhere, and put it in her backpack or pocket. Sometimes she asks me to carry them, and I have to put dirty rocks in my pocket. She keeps them all over the house on tables, but mostly in our bedroom, on the dresser, and on her desk. She used to keep the skulls and bones on the dresser, but put most of them in the closet when I said I was creeped out when I would wake up and see a bunch of dead animal skulls staring at me. But she takes some of them out when she's working at home. The problem with the rocks is that there are so many of them, and it's starting to make the apartment seem cluttered and kind of messy. If anyone came into our room, they would just see a bunch of random rocks all over the place. The other day when I was cleaning, I put all of them in a nice box so that they were all in one place, and she got really mad when she got home. She says she likes looking at them and seeing some remind her of different trips she's taken, even though they all look the same. and she said they're beautiful and make her happy. She also likes to pick some of them up and carry them around during the day. I calmly explained that we were running out of space for her rocks and maybe she could take photos of pretty views she saw to remind her of the trip, and she got really, really mad and said that it wasn't the same and I couldn't tell her what to do with her apartment even though we both live here, so it's my apartment too. I tried to get my friend to commiserate, but he said I was being a jerk for trying to stop my girlfriend from doing something that makes her happy, and that I should be thankful that her hobby doesn't cost any money. Am I the jerk for wanting a clean apartment? I'm not even telling her to get rid of her random rocks and bones. I just want them put away to make the place look nicer. Edit. You don't all need to keep yelling at me that I'm the jerk. Someone sent me a link to a nice organizing case specifically for rocks that she can keep on her desk. I'm going to get one of those for her as an apology gift and see if she wants to put some in a shadow box.
Alright, folks, and we also have a comment that adds some additional context.
Yeah, so this one from Shattered7 Done 1. They're taking some quotes from OP's text. So she's an archaeologist. She keeps 50 rocks on her desk, not all over the apartment as OP has been implying. Reading his description, I was rather expecting the apartment to closely resemble a gravel pit. Her keeping the rocks contained on her desk rather belies that image. And that's the only really relevant piece of information in the comment. It's basically just, she's an archaeologist, she has about 50 rocks, and they're mostly stored on her desk.
Yeah, so I think the thing about this situation is that she clearly sees far more value in these rocks than he does, and she's also an archaeologist, so there's a potential that she knows more about the rocks than he does. So she's not a geologist, but, archaeologists do a lot with relics and whatnot, right?
Right. Well, and I think the way OP is acting here, because these rocks don't have value to him and aren't identifiable to him, he's projecting onto his girlfriend. Well, clearly they are not valuable and she can't tell them apart because I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just such a narrow perspective. Different people have different understandings of things, and she clearly finds value and meaning in these rocks, and she's able to identify them and tell OP what they are, even if they're mostly the same type of rock.
Yeah, and I think that OP is making a mountain out of a molehill here, and I can certainly understand the way he was phrasing this originally made me feel like he might have some kind of legitimate gripe. Like if you have a partner who's constantly leaving stuff around, or if there's, the rocks are always underfoot, or they're falling off of surfaces and there's just not a good place for them, then that's a little bit more of a legitimate concern. And to say, hey, I really like your rock hobby, but let's keep only, 25 rocks out at a time or something like that, right?
Right.
And then that way there's a compromise. She can rotate out the rocks that she wants in, public view. But right now, where she has all these rocks contained in her own space and on her own desk, I think that he has far less ground to basically to make demands like that, or even make requests about that.
Right. Well, it also seems like she's open to compromise too, because when the skulls freaked him out, she moved those into the closet so that they weren't staring at him in the dark anymore. And I get why that would be creepy. So I'm not faulting Opie for being creeped out by that, but it does sound like she's amenable to compromise. She just didn't want to stuff them all away in a box never to be seen again. She enjoys seeing them during the day. She enjoys carrying them with her, and remembering the memories that go with them. And so I think I'm glad that Opie has realized that he made a mistake, and hopefully that she'll appreciate the little display thing he's getting for her. And hopefully he won't bother her about the rocks so much anymore.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think a display is a nice gesture, especially if you can have them in a nicer location than just kind of sitting around on her desk, right? I don't think that there's, again, anything wrong as long as she has them contained to her own, area, her own place. The way he kind of described this originally makes it, again, like this person says, that they're living in a gravel pit. That she brings home a handful of rocks every day and then just tosses them onto whatever surface is available, right?
Yeah, well, he did paint a very different picture from what the comments actually explain. And, I am a big collector. I love collecting things, but I have seen collections get out of hand. And so, I can understand if the entire house is covered in rocks and he's like, I can't walk through the door without tripping over all of your rocks and bones, why that would be an issue.
Yeah.
But if it's just a little some rocks on her desk and he just doesn't like them because they're not aesthetic to him, that's a different story.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Friend to Stop Wasting Money and Trying to Relive Her Childhood? I'm a 30-year-old female, and my friend Hannah is a 34-year-old female, and she works from home and has been doing so since she graduated with her master's. She's a freelance translator and earns a decent wage. If it matters, she doesn't have kids, doesn't want them, which means she doesn't have serious spending. Now, with that being said, she takes like 5 ballet classes a week. She wasn't able to do so as a child because her family couldn't afford it, so she picked it up as an adult and she loves it. She also takes 2 language courses. She fights with swords, she does some weird competitions, she has stuff like crossbows and bows on her walls. Apparently she shoots them, but I doubt it. And she swims as well, and she's got a ton of drums in her house as well. Obviously, because of dance, she's fit AF, which I'll admit makes me a bit salty, but that's not what this is about. Since she works from home and has no kids, she has a bunch of time to do what she wants and money to spend. I don't. I'm married with 4 kids. My husband lost his job 4 years ago and has been unable to find work since then, and so we're struggling. We've got enough for food and necessities from my work, but not extras. My 10-year-old daughter Ilza would absolutely love to do ballet, but it's very expensive, and we can't afford it, let alone if she would want to start wearing pointe shoes. No way. I met Hannah when I was doing school runs, and Ilza was with me. Hannah was on her way to ballet class. I could see my daughter's face and got really angry. Hannah didn't even have enough decency to keep quiet about ballet in front of my child, and she knows Ilza loves ballet. Honestly, I got angry. I told Hannah to stop wasting money and trying to relive her childhood. She's too old for that, and it's time that she faced the music. She looked at me weirdly and asked me to repeat myself, which I did. I also added that it was time to grow up and face some responsibilities like other adults her age, and that her boyfriend will leave once he changes his mind. They always do, about wanting kids. Hannah called me a jerk. Well, not quite. She called me a pathetic C word, and then she left me standing in the street. I believe she owes me an apology, but my husband said that I should have kept my mouth shut. I can think what I want, but if Hannah doesn't speak to me, she may not lend us money anymore, and we sometimes need it. He thinks that I should apologize. I said no, unless it was my fault. And since my husband reads here a lot, he mentioned that I should ask here if I was the jerk. So am I the jerk for telling her what I thought? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, not only is OP the jerk, but this is a really bad move if you're expecting to get money off of someone. That goes back to the old adage, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
Like, look, OP, I understand you're stressed and frustrated that you don't have as much money as your friend does. She made different choices in life. She doesn't have the responsibility of looking after 4 children, so yes, she's going to have more free time and more money.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't give you the right to belittle her for having hobbies and for living out dreams that she wasn't able to do as a kid. You know, unfortunately, a lot of parents struggle financially and can't necessarily give the kids the things that they want. And I don't think there's anything wrong as an adult exploring hobbies like ballet.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really not cool to belittle someone's hobbies and be like, oh, that's just too childish. You need to stop chasing this dream. Like, people should let people enjoy things.
Yeah, I mean, I think OP is coming from a place of frustration, and I think that that doesn't necessarily excuse what they've said here, but they are looking at this from a perspective of they think that Hannah should grow up, essentially, right? And I think that's short-sighted because Hannah is living her life the way she wants to, and there's nothing wrong with that. And she can spend her money how she wants to as well. Now, OP claims that she doesn't have any real responsibilities with money. I mean, there are more life responsibilities with money than just kids, right? And she also is helping you financially, so it does mean that she is spending money on children, whether directly or indirectly, right? But I do want to kind of comment a little bit on the husband's unemployment state. I think that he's been unemployed for 4 years, and maybe he needs to start looking in a different direction for employment. I mean, certainly, like, I can understand the issues with finding employment if you haven't been employed for a long time. Like, the employers will look at that gap record and maybe not look on it kindly. But maybe he can go back to school or some other program, a vocational program that will help him acquire new skills so that he can find a better job, right? And I think that maybe that will help to alleviate some of the financial issues in the household.
And it is, I understand it's difficult, but you need to have these hard conversations with your kids. Like, I can understand your daughter is feeling hurt and jealous that this other person gets to do ballet, but unfortunately, not every family has the money to do things. And I mean, Hannah had the same experience as a child. And so maybe she could even talk to your daughter about, like, and sympathize with her on that level. When I was little, I wanted to do gymnastics and we couldn't afford that. And a lot of girls in my class did gymnastics. And it's just the way the world works sometimes. We don't live in a society that is equitable. And so it's tough, but there's nothing you can do about it. You can't make everyone else quit their hobbies so your daughter never sees anyone else do ballet.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
2 jokes in one. What might you call cash that makes you laugh?
Well, I would call it funny money.
Yes. And now, so here's a picture of the funny money. And the funny money has a little joke for us. What did one painting say to the other?
What did one painting say to the other?
Let's hang out. See, aren't they so funny?
Yes, funny money indeed. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on hobbies.
You don't have to enjoy someone else's hobby to support them.
I think that's a good philosophy. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.